Hey guys, so yeah, we're going to try to review the build process of the bootleg wing Gundam Zero. So far, um, so far, not that bad, but not great. But for the price, still a steal. So also, what do you call this? C clips. So they're very fragile. So I don't know how I can secure that. See? I mean, they don't connect. So what is this? What is this? What is this design? It looks like a hand grenade to me. So you need to pull that out. So if you want to transform, you're gonna do it manually. It's like a parts articulation. So it's very loose. So I don't know what to do with that. Maybe some glue. So your claw will be like this. So I plan to transform this. So there's gonna be work to do. But to transform this, but that's a lot of work. So you're better off not transforming this. But I bought two because I want to transform this. So I'm screwed. Basically, I'm screwed. How does this go again? Hey, yeah. So I don't know how I can secure this crap. So you're just better off not messing with the articulation. Yeah, or just put it that way. Not put it that way. Just make it that way. Yeah, you just remove the hand. Okay, so enough suffering. Let's just finish this mother father. Maybe do the weapon. I don't know what this is for. It's hard to be a YouTuber.
And I handed him the disc, which was still under the book. But the disc was never played by them. Instead, it was taken into a factory of production on that day without me knowing it.
There were several editions of the home releases of DOA2 that featured all kinds of additional content across them, from new costumes, stages, cutscenes, and secret characters, to even new game modes, and eventually online play, the Japanese Dreamcast version, which came in two different editions, one being the regular release, and the other known as the limited edition. The limited edition Dreamcast version definitely was the best with its superior graphics and wide range of costumes. However, I do have a soft spot for my European copy of the PS2 version, despite its graphical shortcomings. In other regions, this game was called DOA 2 Hardcore, and was the final version of DOA 2 released after the limited edition Dreamcast version, featuring most of the same things in the game, with its own exclusive editions, like having even more costumes and extra cutscenes during story mode, with all of them running at 60 frames per second this time. The 3 exclusive stages in this version were also some of my favorites in DOA 2 in general, especially the loading. DOA 2 Hardcore was Itagaki's second chance to make a PS2 version, after getting over the turmoil he felt after being forced to release the first one. You could really tell he meant to fix things after the amount of content he added again. However, neither the arcade, Dreamcast, or PS2 would see the best version of the game, as later on, the game would be released in its most complete state on another console, which became the new home for the Dead or Alive series for many years to come.
The program around this thing is really quite phenomenal. But the box itself.
After the critically acclaimed Dead or Alive 2, Team Ninja soon began development on the sequel, in hopes to capitalize on the series' newfound popularity amongst players. Around this time, Microsoft approached the studio, offering them a deal to bring Dead or Alive exclusively to their upcoming console, the Xbox. Tomonobu Itagaki saw this as an excellent opportunity, as he always strived to utilize the most powerful hardware available to make the best Dead or Alive games possible. The Xbox was exactly the system for that possible. He also stated that it was much easier to develop a game with just one console, and that the Xbox's development environment was as convenient as the Dreamcast's, with the PS2's being most difficult. This also led to Team Ninja eventually skipping out on the arcade release for the game to purely focus on the Xbox, which might not have been the best idea in terms of building an audience at the time. In 2001, Dead or Alive 3 was released in Japan, but was eventually released first in North America to line up with the release of the American Xbox. I have very fond memories of playing Dead or Alive 3. I never owned the game or an Xbox myself, but I would always play the game at family friends' house, where we would usually go head to head in a round robin like setting, since there were usually a lot of us around whenever I was over. It was so cool seeing the updated graphics and costumes of characters from the Dreamcast version of the game 2, as well as the brand new, more expansive stages introduced in the game 3 that the Xbox made possible. Dead or Alive 3 introduced 4 new playable characters, with most of the characters from DOA 2 returning, except for the secret unlocking character Tank. These new characters were Christy, Brad Bond, Hitomi, and Hayate, who was revealed to be Ain's real identity at the end of his arcade mode in DOA 2. This meant his moveset was changed completely to accommodate for the fact that he was a ninja of the Mugen Tenshin. Luckily, Ain was an unlockable character, and he only won at that in this game. But a lot of Ain's moves were given to Hitomi, as they shared a choreographed background. Gameplay-wise, this felt right at home moving in from DOA 2, the game not feeling much different in general from its prequel, outside faster movement speed. The approach to this game in general was to make it easier and more accessible to newcomers, through soft changes like increased active frames on holds, immediate attacks on switching attack powers, and stage falls causing KOs when players want help. The real changes came more so in the Japanese and European versions of the game, dubbed Dead or Alive 3.1 and 3.2 respectively. The Japanese version of the game initially had 50 new attacks in total for characters, and enhanced the CPU, along with modifying the properties of attacks, and upgrading the 3-step movement to be much more evasive. This was adjusted again in the European version, scaling back the evasiveness and adjusting the balance once more. In true DOA fashion so far, these new versions came with all kinds of new costumes for each character, adding to the flair of the stellar visuals. The story mode played the same way it did in DOA 2, with the final boss this time being Gundam, INA's foster father in his Omega form after being experimented on by the new shadow leader of the Doatech organization. This fight was a weird one, as this all had to be done from a third-person perspective, which felt so strange to do in the fighting game. I see the vision, but the execution wasn't all there.
Bawat gamot ang paninda at serbisyo may alagang nila para sa'yo.
It could easily be seen as a misstep to have Dead or Alive 3 as an exclusive game for the Xbox, but the game went on to be the best-selling game in the entire series so far, selling over 1 million copies in the first 5 months of its release and 2 million copies worldwide. This was in no doubt due to the hype of the newly released Xbox and Microsoft's heavy marketing, but the game was critically acclaimed, mainly for its ease of use and very impressive graphics. However, it wasn't all great, as in Japan, the game didn't sell as well as Microsoft's Japanese division had hoped, only being able to move 180,000 copies out of the projected 500,000 initially. The excess copies sent over to the Japanese retailers started to pile up, causing stores to put the game on sale for as low as 300 yen, which was around $3 at the time, just a month after the game's release. Itagaki expressed how sad and frustrated this made him, as he imagined when gamers saw a game going for that cheap, it must be something terrible and not worth playing, which was very unfortunate seeing how good this game actually was. Even playing this game now, in 2024, is still plenty of fun, and holds up as an expansion of the DOA 2 style of the series. It didn't end here, as not long after, Team Ninja won up this game with a particular remaster that is considered by many as the best game in the entire series. 2004 was a great year, as it brought the remastered versions of the original DOA and DOA 2 to the Xbox. Having access to the original DOA game again was great, but the main attractions to this collection was the brand new version of Dead or Alive 2, dubbed the most complete version of the game by Itagaki himself. I never got the chance to try this version of Dead or Alive 2 back then, as I didn't own an Xbox, but playing this game now through my Xbox 360, I was shocked at just how amazing this game really is. It takes every single thing from Dead or Alive 2 that I love, from fast-paced gameplay, animations, and graphics, and pushes them to the absolute limit. Even now, I'm still blown away at how good this game from 20 years ago looks in motion. Gameplay-wise, despite looking closer to DOA 3 than outside, it very much feels like DOA 2, keeping a lot of the rules like being set, and changing back mid-holds to being back and hold for mid-punches and forward also for kicks. The game is noticeably much harder coming from DOA 3, with the CPU performing way more well-timed holds, forcing you to stagger your blows much more to bait out and punish their holds and blows and throws. I felt the increased difficulty slowly molded me into a better DOA player in general. This new version of the game was everything fans of the original version from a few years ago wanted, including all the bonus content for each and every edition of the game, from arcades to the Dreamcast and PS2, all wrapped up in one beautiful new package. It's only from DOA 3 was also added to the roster, which was a welcome addition. I would love to keep playing this version of mine, if there was some rollback progressions needed to, or even a remaster of this game from consoles. But for now, I'm still having fun playing the Dreamcast version of the Notebook 2. With online play also available at the boom of multiplayer gaming across Xbox Live and 360, and improved network from DOA Ultimate, many players got to experience the exhilarating gameplay DOA 4 offered. Coupled with the beautiful visuals, this game is a pleasure to play even now. Despite the fact that I would still choose DOA 2 Ultimate as my go-to for the older games, this was yet another very solid game for the series.
Well, Dixon here for fast food mula sa Barangay Hill. Anytime, anywhere. Dixon here.
Unfortunately, despite all the success, things behind the scenes at Tecmo are not going well, causing Itagaki to apparently leave the company in 2008 and file a lawsuit over his bonus not being paid. In 2010, the lawsuit between Itagaki and Tecmo was settled, where Itagaki mentioned in a statement that the dispute was over compensation for his dismissal, meaning he was actually fired back then in 2008 before he could even leave. It's unclear who the real problem with Tecmo was during the company, but there were allegations on both sides. It seemed to be the point where things started to change a lot more for the series, in both the general public and with a lot of long-time DOA fans. However, the reasons for this may not be as clear as it seems. Moving on to 2012, Dead or Alive 5 was the next game in line for the series. From the first look, it went for a more realistic aesthetic, with the darker and gritty tone. Looking over at a lot of the early trailers for the game, Team Ninja really tried to emphasize the extremely explosive action, with brand new moves that caused short cinematic pauses in the fight, and even crazier stage hazards and transitions. This was the first DOA without Itagaki, led by a new boost, Yosuke Hayashi. And after seeing him playing the game, you can definitely tell, as he and the team built the engine for this game entirely from scratch. It's a weird situation, because I wouldn't say Itagaki's absence led this game to be so far. In fact, I and many others have great things to say about this game overall, but I'll come back to that later. You. Alright. According to Hayashi, the approach for this game was to tone down the sexual elements of the franchise's number and head in a completely new direction, focusing more on each character's personality more than their beauty, in an attempt to make them more appealing to the majority of players. Yohei Shimbori, one of the directors of the game, and one of the original lead designers for DO4, also mentioned in an interview that the team was told to tone down the fan service from overseas offices, essentially backing the vision of the new game. However, this new idea would come to a crashing halt after player feedback came from an alpha demo released with copies of the Shimbori claimed players demanded for the busts of characters to be bigger, disappointed that the game they loved was straying away from what it was known for. It was a surprise to me, but it goes to show for some of the players importance live for the series. In response to the complaints, the team decided to completely do a 180 on the original plans and went ahead with adding fan service the fans requested in the biggest, most bodacious way the series had seen yet.
さっさと飲みな。試してもうやめ。
Despite the demand for the fan service, Yosuke and the rest of the team didn't forget about making a mechanically rich fighting game that could satisfy hardcore fans of the game who came to try it.
10年早いんだよ
Yep, that's Akira from Virtual Fight. In a crazy turn of events, DOA 5 features several characters from the franchise, those being Akira Yuki, Ai-chan, and Sarah Bryan. This was a really big thing for DOA, seeing as Itagaki and probably most of the team were major fans of the series, and DOA was initially designed in very similar way to Virtual Fighter 2 back in 1996. As cool as it was, I'm not too sure of the impact this collaboration made, as by this time, these two series were already settled as very niche fighting games, with Sega only releasing new iterations of VF5 every so often for many years now. Mind you, Virtual Fighter 5 was originally released in 2006. Also, some good news arrived recently during the making of this video. Virtual Fighter had been announced to be getting a brand new game, with another new version of VF5 revealed to be coming soon too. It's great to see another 3D fighting game, especially one as legendary as Virtual Fighter, making its way back. As well as the 3 guest characters, DOA 5 introduced 3 original characters to the game: Mila, Ray, and the boss character from Boston, Alpha 152. This brought the total of new characters to 6, the largest amount added to a new DOA game in the franchise's history. I thought all these new additions were great, offering a wide range of different fighting styles for players to have fun with, just like the older titles. DOA 5 was also the first game to host the Xbox partnership, with the game releasing on the PlayStation 3 as well as the PlayStation 60. Somehow, they managed to push the graphics even further, delivering beautifully rendered character models and stages, as well as adding things like visible sweat on characters. But the game did suffer slightly from a lack of color and variety, something I did miss going into this game straight from DOA 4. The game also introduced an all-new cinematic story mode, the first ever to feature in DOA game. Continuing 2 years after the events of the story pieced together through the ending of DOA 4, the game took us as a player through many different character-specific routes, detailing what they were all up to during the events of the 5th General Life tournament. It was nothing amazing, but I did have fun with it, especially with the funny interaction between characters through most of the thing, and then ending off with some serious, epic cutscenes, especially involving the Suki ninjas. In terms of the gameplay, DOA 5 introduced a few new interesting mechanics to shake up the gameplay from previous titles, with a very big focus on cinematics during fights to make for a more dynamic viewing experience. To start off, Power Blow was a new mechanic that exemplified the emphasis on visuals, with the attack initiating a cool cinematic that ends with blowing your opponent away if you landed the attack with less than 50% health. Blowing your opponent across the stage was also a little different this time, as characters could now hang onto ledges instead of being completely thrown out, allowing them to avoid further damage if they anticipate how their opponent decides to throw them off. The critical hit system was also revamped. Once you got your opponent to the highest amount of stun before they fell over, players could perform a critical burst, which completely dazed the opponent, removing the ability for them to even use holds. This new state made it a lot more dangerous for defending players who didn't quickly make good reads in their opponent's mix-ups often, whether through balls or just blocking correctly initially. This was a cool idea that added another layer to your options in the combat. The game featured the usual game mode seen in every other game, with an improved online mode from DOA 4, albeit still not that great since it uses a delay-based net. As players would soon find out, this would just be the first version of DOA 5, as Koei Tecmo released several versions of the game as time. The first new version was more like a port than anything, with it being the version of DOA 5 for the PlayStation Vita, Sony's brand new successor to the PSP. I put a few hours into playing this version, and I have to say, I was really impressed. The graphics had been toned down to play on the hardware, but the look and feel of the game is still very present in the single pack. It offered everything the original game on home consoles had, but also added a first-person fighting, where you could use the touchscreen to attack your opponent through taps and swipes instead of buttons, while also being able to take screenshots. I wonder what that was for. Moving on to 2013, an updated version of the game arrived on both the PS3 and Xbox 360 as an expansion named Dead or Alive 5 Ultimate. Co-director Yohei Shinbori claimed that this version of the game was a reflection of all the feedback given to Team Ninja from fans all around the world. He stood true to his word, as DOA 5 Ultimate featured a massive host of changes from the original game, such as reworking the online netcode, a complete character balance total, a brand new fighting mechanic called Power Launcher, training modes from DOA Plus, a completely reworked attack mode to allow for more competitive play and 2v2 fights, a jukebox mode where you can play music from older games, and more than double the amount of costumes from the original game, with a lot of the DLC costumes being ones you can simply unlock with the game. Over the course of the game's lifespan, many characters were added too, starting off with several new or redesigned playable characters, as well as a couple returning. These characters were Tengu, Base 4, Marie Rose, Leon, and joining Hayabusa, two more Ninja Gaiden characters were introduced also, Momiji and Rachel, and to top it all, another virtual fighting guest was added, Jackie Boy, Sarah's older brother, who you may have seen before on social media. Alongside this game, a free-to-play version was released, named Dead or Alive 5 for the Fighters. Oddly enough, this was only released on the PlayStation Store at the time. This was a stripped-down version of the game with only 4 playable characters. The players were free to play most of the modes available in the full version as much as they liked, and were given the opportunity to buy specific characters they wanted to play as well as the option to buy the story mode separately. It was a better deal to buy the entire game, but the option was there to save money on this. And it was a good way to allow people to try out the way if they didn't play it. Speaking of money, although this game brought along a wealth of content, it did initiate the ongoing issue of Koei Tecmo's excessive use of microtransactions. You're not forced to buy anything, and it is purely cosmetic, but it got quite expensive very quickly. Finally, in 2015, the last version of Dead or Alive 5, appropriately named Lost Round, was released. This version of the game released on PC and crossed over into the next generation, arriving on the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, as well as returning to the PS3 and 360. The next-gen PC versions came with various graphical updates and a boosted resolution, now running at 1080p 60 frames per second. Team Ninja also added the soft engine, which was designed to bring an even softer look to the character's bodies. Yeah, seriously. Like with all new versions of DOA games, this version again came with a few new characters over the course of its lifespan. Honoka was a brand new DOA character who wielded a mysterious power on top of being able to use a lot of moves from other characters in the game. Raiden, presumed to be killed in the first Dead or Alive game, returned here as a revived cycle, obsessed with fighting signature moves. To add to the original characters, Team Ninja again went to Koei Tecmo to include another guest character in the game, this time putting over Naoto Ali from the Samurai Warrior series. Admittedly, I knew nothing about this character, but her over-the-top acrobatic moves made her a fun character to watch in the game. The last DLC character here really set things up, as Team Ninja managed to strike a deal with the people over at SNK to include one of the most iconic characters from the King of Fighters series, Maya Shiranui, and they did an amazing job at recreating her in 3D just for this game. Unfortunately, as of September 11, 2019, she was no longer available to purchase, along with several other collaboration costumes and stages, including the likes of Attack on Titan, Arc System Works' main IPs, Guilty Gear Blaze Blue, and Senran Kagura, leaving late adopters to the game out of luck. With a robust technical fighting system and a massive cast of characters, this made DOA 5 Last Round yet another great game for the franchise, and to a lot of people, it's considered the best. All the versions of the game combined sold over 1.5 million copies, with the free-to-play versions gaining over 12 million without it. Though these were good numbers, especially with the free-to-play numbers, the sales showed the popularity of DOA had increased, seeing as DOA 3 sold over 2 million copies, and DOA 4 managed around 1.2 million sales, both with just a single iteration of the game. Despite all the good work put into the game by Team Ninja, they couldn't shake their reputation of being a fan service first game, instead of a deep fight with other openings on the side. Very early on in the first version, many gaming outlets and players complained about the over-sexualization of female parts in particular. This wasn't new for the series as we've seen, but it seemed to be a much bigger complaint than this. It got to the point where tournament organizers even decided to ban specific costumes from being used in their tournaments due to their revealing nature, which really didn't help the game's popularity in the FGC either. Dead or Alive by this point just wasn't taken seriously, and as a result, the depth of the game was overlooked, and it disappeared further into the niche market. But not everyone was pleased with the nature of the new mechanics introduced in DOA 5. You could call it jealousy for not being involved anymore, but this is what the original creator, Tomonobu Itagaki, had to say. It is almost impossible to attract new players to the way the game plays now. Look back at the older DOAs. When a newcomer tries out the game for the first time, his first instinct is to just press buttons randomly. But those button presses usually lead to some very visually pleasing moves, and even at some points, lead to that beginner's first victory. When a new player experiences this, in his mind he will think, hey, I think I can play this game, and will start to play it more, and maybe even attract more players to play it. When you compare this to the state DOA 5 is in, a newcomer has virtually no chance at winning. The technical gap is so huge to the point that the game will feel too awkward, and this newcomer will never be able to play effectively or ever get a win. A game like that would never serve. This is why they feel they can overcome this by making the game erotic and milky loyal players fall out your money and want to be seen. It's disgusting. I don't believe newer players have no chance at all to catch up to others in Game 5, as matches flow in a way that makes you feel like you can do something eventually. But I happen to stop completely and lack how some things work in one team of the challenge, encouraging a natural growth of a role from the player, even if the game is hard. I definitely agree with his take on the overtuning of the erotic nature of the game and DLC practices. And it's crazy because I think there are so many cool, fun, and reasonably sexy costumes packed into this game. Itagaki himself made steps to regulate the erotic nature of DOA, leading him to create a completely different series of games under the franchise, inadvertently dividing the fan base, or possibly creating a new one together. This takes us over a decade back in time to 2004, where it all began. If you weren't already aware, Fire is one of the only genre games released under this franchise. In 2004, on the original Xbox, Dead or Alive Extreme was released, which was a game centered entirely around playing minigames on the beach with the entire female cast of Dead or Alive 3. I would like to read another quote from Itagaki in 2015, as I think it perfectly encapsulates why he decided to make this series. Everybody's a little better, even I'm a little bit better. But it was for that very reason I created Dead or Alive. The volleyball game was still as fun as always though, but apparently Extreme 3 left out the jet ski minigame that people were fans of from the second game on the Xbox 360, which was a shame. It was something the original creator Itagaki himself was very proud of making too. But of course, with his departure of the company after DOA 4, a new team took over both the fighting games and the Extreme series, and this game was another example of how quickly things can change after a lead producer of the series leaves.
よかったら一緒に遊びませんか？そうじゃのう。わらわと組もうなど図が高いわ。ひどい。
The most shocking revelation to me, though, was that the Extreme series is very much alive, with the most up-to-date version being a free-to-play live service gacha game called Dead or Alive Extreme Venus Vacation, only available in Asia. You can find up to 3,000 people playing this game on any given day on PC, light years ahead of the amount of people playing Dead or Alive 5 online, and probably every other DOA game combined. During the making of this video, a new Venus Vacation game was also announced, called Venus Vacation Prison, again only to be released in Japan and the rest of Asia. These games created an entirely new fandom for the Dead or Alive franchise, and where some players adopted both the fighting game and this one together, a lot of players sat on either side of the fence. The Extreme series isn't the only spin-off title from Dead or Alive that exists, as there were several other games to capitalize on some of the success of the fighting games. Dead or Alive Dimensions was one of those titles, released on the 3DS 2 years after the release of DO4. This game ran on a similar framework to DO4 and had a unique mechanic involving the touch screen, where you could press on moves and strings from your character's move list and it would do the exact command. It's my first time seeing this mechanic, and it seems like a good way to help casual players use a wide range of attacks in the fight without having to memorize much of anything. What really impressed me about this game was its surprising amount of content, to the point where I would consider this a pseudo mainline title in the series. The story mode chronicles the events that happened from the first DO all the way to DO4, filling in the gaps in the story within those games to better tie everything together in a more cinematic fashion. This is genuinely the best way to experience the story of all four games, and for people new to the series, it also teaches the concepts of Dead or Alive's core gameplay along the way. On top of the story mode, it featured all the modes seen in other away games, with a unique twist of attack mode, having an attack partner controlled by AI instead, where you can choose to tag yourself in or react to timely button prompts to perform attack moves. It even featured online battles, although I'm not too sure how the netcode held up. Regardless, this is a must-play for anyone who casually wanted to get into deal with the story, and for current fans who want to see some of their favorite characters from the series get even more shiny. Next up, there was Dead or Alive Online, a Microsoft exclusive port of Dead or Alive 2 Ultimate, originally released as a beta in China in 2008, but never saw the light of day in the West after being closed down completely in 2010. There was also a blackjack game for iOS released in 2009, which was an extension of the blackjack minigame from Extreme Games, but this game didn't last long, as its sales were halted just a year later. Speaking of Extreme, Dead or Alive Paradise was released on the PSP, being a direct port of the Xbox 360 game, DOA Extreme 2. And lastly, another Chinese name, Dead or Alive 5 Infinite, and its extremely similar Hong Kong counterpart, Dead or Alive 5M, were turn-based RPGs released on mobile in those countries alone. I can't say much about this one, but it doesn't look like something I'd be very interested to try. Believe it or not, there was even a live-action movie based off the game. As for my thoughts on it, well, it certainly was a movie, but it did make me laugh quite a few times. Probably wasn't the intention, but it gets a point for that at least. As well as the spin-offs in the series, there have been a great amount of crossovers with the franchise, usually adding Dead or Alive characters to particular games from Koei most large libraries of IPs. These came in the form of either playable characters like Kasumi, Ayane, Hayabusa, and Ko in Dynasty Warriors and Warriors of Orochi games, or an ancient Nyotengu and ancestors of Ryu Hayabusa appearing as secret bosses in the 2. Looking over it, there really has been a lot of crossovers as you can see on both console and mobile games, with one of the biggest being a few of the DOA girls featuring in the very popular gacha game Asa Lane, well known for its very particular character design. Finally, the most notable crossover, of course, was with the rebooted Ninja Gaiden series, which released periodically alongside the Dead or Alive series, and was directed by Tomonobu Itagaki up until Ninja Gaiden 2. As I mentioned earlier, Ryu was initially a guest character in Dead or Alive at the beginning, but became a mainstay character immediately after, with Itagaki constantly crossing over characters between the two games. Ayane was introduced to Ninja Gaiden with a remastered version of the game, Ninja Gaiden Sigma, as a messenger to help guide Ryu. Later on in Dead or Alive 5, we'd see the introduction of Rachel Momoji, friends of Ryu's who first appeared in Ninja Gaiden and Ninja Gaiden Dragon Sword, respectively. For the most part, I strongly feel like the mainline games have been great to this point, and the sales of each of the titles so far even prove people have enjoyed them all to some degree. However, that would all change when its recent title, Dead or Alive 6. In 2019, Team Ninja released their brand new entry for the franchise, this time in hopes to branch out to new audiences. The new director and producer of the game at the time, Yohei Shinwo, claiming the concept of the game this time was intense fighting entertainment, which on the outside seems to be the case, with the toned down fan service of the female characters that immediately shows who were supposed to go the game soon. At this point in time, I remember being so excited to see another DOA game that had a chance to blow up amongst the soft resurgence of fighting games at the time, especially with Tekken 7 doing extremely well, shining a spotlight on fighting games.
Yes, I cannot believe what I'm seeing.
The game was, and still is, beautiful, and although it didn't be too far ahead of Dead or Alive 5 last round in terms of graphical fidelity and animations, the bright lighting and vibrant colors really made the game pop next to its predecessor, and it's still a very pretty game to look at today, especially with the PC version. That being said though, I still mostly prefer the character models to DOA 5 last round. The game also featured a very robust tutorial, better than any other DOA game before, helping players understand the mechanics of DOA in a much easier way. The new mode DOA Quest also acts like a tutorial, giving players specific objectives and fights to achieve. Two brand new DOA characters, Diego and Nico, were introduced at the start of the game. They both didn't appeal to me much from the design standpoint, but Diego was said to be designed as someone who could appeal to Western audiences. Over time, more characters were released as ABC, mainly returning from DOA 5, such as Base Form, Momiji, Nyotengu, Rachel, and Mai Xiaomei, who's now only available in this game. Momiji ended up being the character I gravitated towards most of this game, as well as Lei Fang later on. This time, Team Ninja struck another deal with SNK and brought another friend to accompany mine, that being Kuna Diamond, another popular character from the K-Web series. As for the story, it's more what was in Dead or Alive 5, but this time split into separate timelines for each character. It's not much of a big deal, but I did prefer the way things were structured in the last game more. As for the storyline itself, it was the same structure from the last, very silly with a bunch of fun, ridiculous interactions with characters, and then ending up with a bigger, more serious fight. The other downside to this game's story mode was its final boss, Friday, which wasn't interesting outside of him making the screen go blank and reappearing anywhere on the stage. The story also ended so abruptly, leaving so many questions unanswered.
あなたに無理する。分かる時が来るわ。
Lastly, for the final DLC character before things went south, Tamaki was introduced, who was the first character to be crossed over from the Extreme series over to the fighting game. Recently, I've been trying to play them, but she really never stuck the landing, especially in a game where there's such a variety of crazy unique fighting styles.
ありがとう。よかったな。
Very soon after the game released, Koei Tecmo announced them on tour for the game, backing their claims of making DOA more palatable to the esports scene, putting their money behind such a massive event. Looking at things from this angle, you would think the future was bright for the LM6, but soon after players began playing the game, that would very quickly change. After starting up the game, it was clear to see that the game didn't have the largest of budgets for development, having even less characters than D5. When it comes to the gameplay, the game was immediately met by criticism from long-term fans of the series due to the introduction of a meter system table. The two major issues I put in the mechanics were the breakfault system and the meter-burn step attack. The first was a move that let you hold any and all opponent moves by just tapping back and up one. This completely took out the strategy behind analyzing the opponent's habits and making the right to turn attack fight, which was present in every single DOA game up until this point. I didn't like this specifically for that reason, as it made interactions a lot more sharp. The second was the step dodge attack. You could spend one bar to use, making your character slip past any of your opponent's attacks and hitting them with a counter that sent them flying. Yet another mechanic that let players completely ignore any pressure enforced by the opponent, again dumbing down the interaction between players. I believe their goal for accessibility should be to introduce mechanics that help players get started and encourage them to learn more about the game to optimize the play. But in DOA 6, these new mechanics they introduced actively stop players from having to learn more about the game, making it a more shallow title compared to its predecessors. These are only my opinions, as it seems to be a devout few who really do enjoy this game and everything else. Despite my feelings on the mechanics, I still had some fun back then playing around with this game casually, and even during the making of this video, I spent hours and hours playing online with others. It's not as deep as previous titles, and dropped out cool features like cliffhangers from DOA 5, but the look and feel of the game still offers some level of satisfaction despite its shortcomings. What isn't satisfying though is everything else the game has offered on top of the watered down game, which I believe is the combination that ultimately included in the eyes of many members of the family and anyone who had some slight interest in playing the game.
New Morning Vitamin C Cereal Cleanser, Gently Cleanses for brighter skin in one wash.
So like you were saying, huwag magpadala sa emosyon, magpadala sa LBC.
Characters weren't too much of an issue, as I think it would be unfair to compare DOA 6's initial roster to DOA 5's third major division, but everything else was excusable. The online mode in the beginning had no lobby system. The stages weren't as interactive and multi-layered as previous titles. Tag team modes were removed. The costume unlock system was turned into an unnecessarily long grind, and the game's microtransaction scheme following on from DOA 5 was even more diabolical. DOA 5 last round benefited heavily from being able to include content from previous revisions, and while DOA 6 does include costumes from other games in the bundle, it wasn't nearly as much as it did from the previous game. This leads into DOA 6's DLC, which honestly doesn't even offer costumes that were as cool as the ones you could get in 5, yet all the season passes and costume packs were even more expensive, being anywhere up to $90 each, more than the entire game itself. Team Ninja introduced some degree of character customization, which was cool, but you even had to pay every time you wanted to simply change the color of the character's hair, something you can do for free in other games. I think it goes without saying that price-wise, this was all of an issue, but you were still able to buy costumes singularly for the character you liked most, and not have to buy into the egregious packs. I'm not a fan of it all, but it is important to mention that none of these purchases are compulsory, and you can simply play and enjoy the game without having to buy anything else. And the DLC characters themselves were reasonably priced at the very least in my opinion. Lastly, the big topic of discussion in this game at the time was of course the fan service, and lack thereof for some people. I think the actual problem here was Team Ninja's flip-flop approach to it. They claimed the game would be more focused on having an image that is more acceptable by modern standards, committing to dialing back the quality of costume and putting more attention on gameplay, similar to the early parts of DOA 5. But very soon after, they turned around and tried to include it all in the same anyway after some backlash, with them even setting up an erotic showcase stage at Evo Japan, which was embarrassingly shut down mid-show due to the whole thing not being part of Evo's core values. Neither the fans who wanted all the fan service back from Doom 5, or the more competitive focused players who wanted DOA to feature fun, fair, and engaging gameplay mechanics were satisfied, as both sets of players were sold alive one way or another, leaving the game in limbo with no strong audience. That is what killed the game and heavily damaged the reputation of the series further, in my opinion. Winter mechanic to the game if it didn't previously happen. With that being said though, since that has happened to a lot of games recently, maybe making a game without winter mechanics could be more refreshing than ever. In the end, despite the ups and downs of the series and the state it's in today, Dead or Alive remains one of my favorite fighting game series of all time, and I only wish the best for the series moving forward. Things may be extremely quiet now, or even dead in some people's eyes, but there are still many people out there keeping the name of this franchise alive, so it can never be forgotten.
The BYD Atto 3. Go with BYD.
Warning. Due to sensitive content, viewer discretion is advised. IP, fan service, or sex appeal. It's been around in the world of pop culture for decades, even to this very day. Eye candy includes, but is not limited to, scantily clad people, candy shots, and even verbal sexual humor.
You have to be careful in this protection.
It exists in all forms of pop culture. Movies, books, television, music videos, and even video games. You can find eye candy in many a video game, especially the fighting games. Scarcely have there been a video game franchise as awesome or as titillating as Dead or Alive. Released in 1996 by Tecmo, the good people that brought us Monkey back, Dead or Alive got its start in the arcades and at home consoles like the Sega Saturn. But it eventually grew in popularity thanks to Microsoft's Xbox consoles. The franchise inspired beach volleyball spin-offs as well as a live-action movie. Though the spin-offs did get a bit of flack, and the movie was a disaster. I myself am a good fan of the Dead or Alive games. It's basically Tecmo's mix of the fan service Capcom brought to Street Fighter and the 3D polygon Sega gave Virtual Fighter. When I finally got my own original Xbox in 2021, among the first games I collected for it were every Dead or Alive game released with that console. And I played them quite a bit. Sorry, Phil. On this episode of Gaming Delight, we're going to take a look at the first 3 games in the Dead or Alive series, beginning with the game that started it all. Dead or Alive in the arcades and on the Sega Saturn. During the 1990s, Tecmo was in a slump. Despite popular games such as the Ninja Gaiden and Tecmo Bowl series, the company was on the verge of bankruptcy. That's where Tomonobu Itagaki comes in. Itagaki joined Tecmo in 1992 and was a graphic designer for the Super Famicom version of Tecmo Super Bowl. Management of Tecmo asked him to develop a fighting game similar to Sega's Virtual Fighter. Now Virtual Fighter. This game was a massive hit in both the arcades and on home consoles. Released in 1993 in arcades all over, and as a launch title for the Sega Saturn in 1994, Yu Suzuki's Virtual Fighter sold over 40,000 arcade cabinets and over 1 million copies for the Saturn. It even spawned a more successful sequel for both the arcades and the Saturn. Back to Tecmo. Tomonobu Itagaki had decided to develop a game based around Sega's Model 2 arcade movie. the same hardware Sega used to make Virtua Fighter 2. Itagaki chose the Model 2 because it was the most advanced for third-party developers, and that the Model 3 was meant to be Sega's one. For this new game, Itagaki implemented a new fighting system, counterattack. Basically, attacking the opponent when they're about to attack you. Something pretty much no fighting game prior actually utilized. The game would also utilize motion capture technology to make the game seem more realistic. Itagaki also added more provocative physics, which wasn't exactly new to video games. The concept was actually implemented in early 90s games such as SNK's Fatal Fury, the character in particular, Mai Shiranuki. Plus, there were some breast physics in Tecmo's own Tokidensho Angel Eyes. Itagaki wanted this game to emphasize this more than any previous game by bringing it into the third dimension. In shorter terms, he wanted his games to emphasize sexuality and violence. Quite the man of culture, would you say? Itagaki formed the Tecmo division Team Ninja. Tecmo eventually gave the game the name Dead or Alive, based on the financial situation the company was facing.
Dead or Alive literally means dead or alive. For the company, it was a very critical situation. That's how we came up with the title. Tomonobu Itagaki, G4.
Gaming Delight will return in a moment.
最も過激な戦い、伝説の格闘ゲーム、決闘は荒い。あなたに私を倒せない。
In February of 1996, Sega announced that they would be licensing their Model 2 arcade hardware to third-party developers. One of the games unveiled in the show was the completed Dead or Alive. On November 26, 1996, Dead or Alive was officially released to arcades worldwide. In the game, you're given the choice of one of 8 characters competing in the Dead or Alive tournament. Kasumi, the lead character, is a ninja princess of the Mugen Tenshin clan. She has abandoned her village to hunt for the evil rival, an evil ninja exiled from the planet who crippled Kasumi's older brother Hayate. Ryu Hayabusa is the ninja hero of the Hayabusa clan from Ninja Gaiden. His goal is to enter the tournament simply for the sake of challenge. Jan Li is a Jeet Kune Do artist from China, modeled after actor Bruce Lee.
Boys, don't eat that.
His goal in the tournament is to demonstrate his skills against strong opponents. Lei Fan is a Taekwondo prodigy from China. She enters the tournament in hopes of beating Jan Li.
It's a Mail for fast relief mula sa Baratong Ilog. Anytime, anywhere. It's a Mail.
Choco mucho every day ever.
Zach is an eccentric disc jockey from the United States who specializes in Muay Thai boxing. His tournament goal and the prize money. That's it. Gen Fu wants the prize money too, but to help his ill grandmother. Hailing from China, he's a martial arts master and he runs a bookstore. Bayman is a mercenary from Russia who was hired to assassinate Vane Douglas, the CEO and founder of the tournament. And finally, Tina Armstrong is a professional wrestler from the United States, merely entering the tournament for attention. Nothing more. Whichever fighter you choose, you face off against 8 opponents, including the one you chose. If a fighter gets knocked into the danger zone, they take additional damage and get launched into the air and back down. Win 2 out of 3, you advance to the next round. You can also win by knocking the opponent out of the ring. As with every fighting game, if you lose a match, you have the option to continue. Once you beat all 8, you get to take on the final boss, Raiden. Raiden happens to be Kasumi's uncle. He'd been mentally unstable as he'd been jealous of his younger brother Shiden, who was always better than Raiden in every way. After he found his father refused to let him lead Mugen Tenshin, Raiden lost his sanity completely and abandoned his clan. Now let's go over my opinions on the characters. I prefer Kasumi above all. Best build, best outfit, best kicks, and probably the biggest heart. Hayabusa happens to be my favorite among the male characters. Ninja God notwithstanding, he's basically Kasumi's male counterpart. Jan Li, his battle cries really irk me and throw me off. Why does Bruce Lee's style battle cries always do this to me? First Fei Long in Street Fighter, now him. Not that I have anything against Liu Kang in Mortal Kombat. When I fight Jan Li, in most cases, he's usually the first opponent to whom I lose. I prefer Li Fang over him by a mile. She's basically Dead or Alive's very own Chun-Li, minus all the rapid kicking. Zack, being the first opponent you face, is basically the easiest opponent. Despite that, he's actually a pretty decent fighter if you're controlling him. Gen Fu, oh boy. His defenses are as fast as a speedy blue hedgehog. When I fight him, I can barely get a few hits on him. Then again, the game is all about counterattacking. Bayman, I'm not sure what to say about him. I mean, sure, he's got muscle, thus making for a strong opponent. But on the other hand, the bigger they are, the harder they fall. Tina is another favorite of mine. If she were real, she'd definitely make for an amazing WWE diva. As for Raiden, boy oh boy is he one tough cookie. Yes, his defenses pale in comparison to Gen Fu's, but his offenses outweigh them significantly. Nevertheless, I find him one of the best antagonists in a fighting game. I wonder if he could actually beat M. Bison. After the game's release, critics heaped praise upon the game. At the start of 1997, Japanese publication Game Machine called it the most popular game of the past 2 weeks. Next Generation magazine commented, "A fighting game that mimics Virtua Fighter 2 in its look and feel to a frightening degree. Dead or Alive boasts smooth control, crisp polygonal graphics, and an attitude that may enable this game to stand on its own despite its familiar origins. Dead or Alive proved to be a big comeback for Tecmo, having made a profit of over $9.2 million in 1996, thus saving the company from bankruptcy. The success was enough for Tecmo to begin working on ports of the game. A Nintendo 64 port by Acclaim was rumored, but was never released. The most definitive port of the game is the one released through Sega Saturn. Unlike in the arcade, Dead or Alive on the Saturn actually has an opening cinematic. Plus, you can adjust the difficulty, danger zone, and the number of fights required to win a match. There's also a crew line mode, hitting you in 30, 50, or 100 matches. You also have training, allowing you to simply train to get the moves down pat. Survival has you fighting an indefinite number of opponents until you lose a match. In Time Attack, you have to beat 8 opponents as fast as possible. But you can't change the difficulty for this mode, and in the options menu, you can decide whether or not to turn off the rest musics. You can also unlock some new costumes, like a schoolgirl outfit for Kasumi or a cowgirl outfit for Tina. As an added bonus, if you insert the disc into a PC's CD-ROM drive, go to its file listing and click the Unlocking folder. Inside, you'll find 10 wallpapers of the characters. The girls each have 2, and the guys each have 1. Dead or Alive was released in the Sega Saturn on October 1997 in Japan. Critics once again loved the game. Even critics in North America and Europe raved all about it. Due to the Saturn's poor reception in the West, I'd mention more of her, but that'll have to wait until I cover the sequel later. Also, Ryder's entrance is completely omitted in this version. Oh, and the CD-ROM wallpaper trick? It works for the PlayStation version as well.
So what's up guys, we have the Wing Fighter 01, whatever you want to call it, and it looks good, but the build process wasn't good. So at least the sticker catches the light, and I like this piece, but starting with the issue with here, this pops off, so I used some Elmer's school glue gel. It's clear glue basically, and also this head jewel pops off as well, and the view fan doesn't like to stay, bootleg problems, and you sometimes Bandai problems. I'm glad I got this Elmer's glue a while back. So I just used this and this. Yeah, so this is the result. I'm pretty happy with it. I used some cheap pen here. It has the double tip, smaller tip and a bigger tip. So it's whatever I can find in at the school supply store. Okay, so I painted the vents. So I also painted the arm, the shoulder joint. Oh, sorry, I'm not sure what it's called. Yeah, I forgot the color. It probably blue. Okay, so looking good at the back here. Also painted here, and it still has a lot of stickers left. I can't notice where some of the stickers are because it's too small. The manual is too small, so I can't see sticker instructions well. So I kind of forgot and didn't notice. So I finished building it, and well, surprisingly, it looks quite good. the looks department, it's really good, but there's some noticeable flaws like the wings here. It doesn't like to align, but it's not noticeable. It doesn't like to align with each other. Um, yeah, for the articulation. So let's do some poses here. So I think sadly, yeah, I think I remember. I remember. I think it doesn't come with the box. With the box with a stand. So some parts stuck here. Is it called a C clip? I'm not sure. So yeah, this flies off. So I don't know how can I harden it. Make the connection stable. Big double front flap, skirt, side skirt, uh, parallelized back skirt. So really good detail here. It's just a clear plastic and then green plastic at the back. I like it. It catches the light. I painted that. The vents, yeah, it's pretty much color accurate without the stickers, except for the eyes. So that's some really good, posing here. Posing opportunities. Okay, so we got a shark fit here. So that's some articulation here, not anything mind blowing. So knee all the way down, only that far. So there's a peg there for a stand. So that's shin armor here. Not so much, but no problem. Okay, so the articulation is quite good. No complaints here. Yeah, so that's one of the issues there. So I'll fix it along the way. So by tomorrow, that wing will be solid. So yeah, so it becomes a hand grenade. So I keep my school glue handy. So in case so that I can just fix it along the way, fix the kits along the way, uh, or else I will forget. And it's like I'm gonna be here all day, cap. So it sucks. So minus points there. So I don't know what's going on right now. So color separation is really good, but seems to be a hole here. What the? There. So articulate. Epic fail. I know what do you expect for the price? So really good art, color separation. So we got a beam saber here. I think this is really nice for an HG. Wow. But it's gray. I think I'm fine with that. So okay, there's like a opening here. So maybe you can count it as a detail. But yeah, that sucks. So minus 5 points from Gryffindor. Yeah, the abs really good. The abs are really good. Okay, and pretty good. See, you can depending on the pose. So yeah, we need a stand for this. Okay, so you need the stand. So I understand. So let's try this one to plug it at the butt. So I will solidify the connections here. So quick. Better than doing nothing. I like this because it's not permanent and so far so good. And I don't want to damage the kit with super glue unless it's absolutely really necessary to use super glue. But if not, just let it dry out for a couple hours and tomorrow it will be good. So at least when you drop it, if you can just, it's not a solid glue like a super glue, so it can just fly off. And good luck with a black hole. We're looking with a part with a black hole. There we go. Yeah, speaking of black hole, also this flies away. So I spent like a couple hours looking for it. Black hole. So black hole. So yeah, but I'm very patient because I have all the time in the world now, and I'm just lucky to be able to uh, find it. Oh, okay. So now we're going to do the rolling single buster rifle mode. So coincidentally, he's on that stance. I don't like this stand. It's not for him. We're going to do the twin buster, rolling twin buster. It's it doesn't fit the butt plug. Wow. So get another stand. So yeah, this kit you don't want it to be standing. Unlike the master grade, it's a lot more stable. There we go. And now speaking of stable, yeah, we got a stable stand right now. I think I prefer that one. Oopsie daisy. Oh, it's adapter. So yeah, just need to look for some extra adapters. I think I have to paint the vents here. Okay, so the problem with the shield, it's not like other shields that there's like a connector at the back. Well, the Gundam doesn't have to hold it, but I think I don't know why it's not available here. This might be an earlier release. I don't know. Not updated anymore. It quit for years. Okay, so any other places I want to paint? These are just dirt cheap markers. This even cost half a dollar. Perfect. Uh, but it can stain. If after it dries a bit, it becomes a lot safer to touch, but I don't recommend. Easy washes away with water. Where's the cover? Yeah, there we go. So everything is black. So that's the advantage of a black table. Black stuff will just uh, blend in. Okay, so painted those vents black as well. So I hate this part right here. Ugly seam lines, what you call it? Seam line. Sorry, I haven't built in a decade. So yeah, I think this transformation shield, yeah, is really good. You can see the chicken mode. That's where the chicken mode came from. So your shield holder here can all right. It's a bit of articulation. So yeah, so we sandwich the shield. So just how you equip parts. Oh, you don't need. I think the shield you don't need to sandwich. There you go. You just slot it in there. Now it's holding it on a weird angle. So yeah, so oh, there we go. Put it in that way. It's still annoying. What the heck is going on here? Oh, opposite side skill issue. Sorry. Sorry, it's too dark here. I need to buy a desk lamp. Can someone donate? Thanks. Okay, there we go. I don't know why the slides. Maybe for the bird mode. I don't know. I think that's unintentional. Okay, so another huge issue there. Probably a fitting issue. So hard to plug this in. Okay, so I painted the shoulder ball joint, right? I painted it black. Looks like I might need to get gray paint or dark gray. I don't know where I can find that. I think it's blue. It's blue before I painted it. Okay, so we got some hand grenade action there. So the shoulders popped off. So yeah, that's annoying. The flow. Okay, I don't know what's going on here anymore. So it's gonna make being a hand grenade. So it's gonna make this review longer. So if you have the money, just get Bandai. But I wanted two, so I got two. One I will transform one, and the other one I will not transform. So there's an addiction with mobile armor modes for me. Sometimes I want two, but I have a ton of Zetas there, and I don't think they would need transformation. Holy mega crap, Batman. So we're going to be stuck for this review video just for the shield only. You can skip. Okay, it looks like you need to sandwich it. I just forgot. Now another hard part is to connect it. There we go. So sometimes it being solid also is an advantage rather than loose popping flying parts all over the place. So we're back to our suffering. Wing. Oh, so you can't do that awesome pose with the stand. I believe. We'll see. We'll try to do it. Now it seems. Nope. No, you can't. So you're stuck with this. So you might need a different stand if you want that angel pose. Okay, it's becoming a hard hand grenade now. Not even one day being connected there. So be careful, but I had to add some force to push it in. Yeah, it's kind of sucks to post this thing, but I think I could say the same for almost all Gundam. So there you have it. So we got the twin buster rifle mode. Just a single buster rolling mode. Wow, looks like my camera just sucks balls. Okay, don't follow me now. So we're going to do the roll. So I think that's it. So has a lot of issues, but looks great. It's very unstable. And that was good. How do we rate this kit? Huge fan, so I wanted to rate it higher. But so now we'll just review the mobile suit mode. It's gonna take an hour, I guess. I transform it. So just for the mobile suit mode, and then we'll review that score, give that a score, and then we'll review it again and see like the average if I still know my math. Okay, so it's like I left a note there. Okay, score. Sadly, 6 out of 10. It gets some points back because of the price point. But you know what you expect? You get your money's worth. But you know it's above, slightly above average. I mean, slightly above being uh, slightly. Can't find the right words. Just a little bit slightly from being the worst kits out there. So yeah, for this price point, it's fair enough. It's a lot cheaper than the other bootlegs out there. Yeah, I think 6 out of 10. Did I say 6 out of 10 earlier? I'm getting old, so I think that's fair enough with the price point. You do get your money's worth. Sometimes you get more than your money's worth with this price point, but no, it's not today. But it's okay. There are days like this, and it's available online. So nobody wants it, so was able to get two. It's pretty common. Nobody won't have problems with availability on this kit. So yeah, there's a problem here as well, shield. So I don't know if this is the one I transformed, but yeah, I don't want to spend another like 20 hours, I guess, including black hole searching. Yes, I hate that claw so much. So maybe you can so that's it. Yeah, subscribe to support the channel. Yeah, support the channel so I can buy some good lighting gear. So, yeah, so see you next video. So shout out to my friend. I will send this to him. I forgot which friend is that. I'm gonna go. He wanted to let me know, but now he will know. Do I recommend this? Maybe just get the RG if you have the budget, But yeah, but this is the budget. So it's on a good budget. So this is still, no matter how stressed I am right now, it's still Okay, so yeah, the video will come. So some knob mark removal tips. So you can use your nails. And there we go. So there's a lot of knobs removed already. A lot of knobs. Huge portion of the knob is going away. There we go. So now it's time to sand. But this also prevents oversanding. Try to follow the surface as much as possible. Sand one direction. Then try to dampen your thumb. Then more nail action there. So it's almost gone. You know what? Have it. Just scrub back and forth. That's good enough. No, the lighting here really sucks. The best way is to paint it over. Alternative, you could use markers. Yeah, but the best way is to paint it over. Doesn't seem to fit. There we go, it fits. So that's it. Hope that helps. See you next video, I guess. Wow, camera is not really okay. So yeah, please do subscribe to the channel. I would appreciate it. Leave a comment, or if you want to talk anything about Gundam, just leave a comment on any of my videos. I'll respond as much as I can. What's up, guys? Today I'll show you how to send clear parts. So if you're here, please subscribe, leave a comment, support the channel. And there we go. So there's almost at least there's no like stress mark. Yeah, I don't think I will need to use a cutter for that immediately. So just start sanding immediately. That's what I mean. Oh, that's a lot of plastic. I can feel it. Try to use the main. Oh, it's almost gone. Dampen your thumb, clean it up. Do some thumbnail action there. I think that's pretty good. Need more. No. Actually, not yet. See it over here. Wow, it's very far away. It's like no tab. I don't know, did I send the tab there? Oh, well, the message is from Gao Gao. It's a huge problem. So they're not compatible?